Hi, my name is Sarah Hemminger and I am the co-founder and CEO of Thread. So in terms of the results that we've seen over the years, by far the hardest thing to accomplish has been the fact that we've retained 100% of our students. So even though they agree to join Thread initially, Thread is a 10-year commitment. So they stay with us the rest of high school and 6 years after. 10 years is longer than your average marriage in this country, right? So it's a pretty big commitment. At some point, all of the kids say that they have dropped out or they threaten to drop out. And so the hardest thing for us is in the face of a student who rejects us, who runs away, who doesn't want us to be part of their life, saying, no, we're gonna keep pursuing you. So we've retained 100% of the students we've ever enrolled. There's not a single student that we've ever given up on. Because of that, while it has been messy and it takes a long time, and we've had kids spend like their entire senior year of high school in jail at times, 92% though have graduated from high school and 90% have been accepted to college. And so it's been the long pursuit of the relationship with our young people that's led to those outcomes. It's been very difficult, but very doable. I think what's more mind-blowing to me then is when I look at our oldest cohort. So it's 15 students, a small sample, but 80% of them have a 4- or 2-year college degree or certification. And of that 80%, 60% of them have a 4-year college degree. That's higher than the national average, independent of any sort of demographic. And so it really just goes to show what is possible and that how critical it is we engage even the most academically underperforming young people, because they're perfectly capable of succeeding, they are succeeding, and if we don't, we're losing an entire generation of leaders. You know, the Conversation Thread dinners have sparked this feeling throughout the city around re-examining what's important and how could we create the connectedness, how can we be more like Allentown and not like Youngstown. What's interesting to me is that, you know, once we built this middle management infrastructure, heads of family and grandparents, we realized that we actually have to train them. So we have to somehow, even though this was not within our organizational toolkit, figure out how do we train young people to be leaders and managers and coaches. And so really key to our evolution was Mark Joseph, another thought partner who really took a pivotal role in that growth, said, oh, here, let me show you how I've done it in my companies. Let me show you how we groom managers and leaders. And then Echoing Green opened another door and connected us with Bloomberg and Barclays, and we were able to learn from them as well, like how do they train leaders. And we've built this middle management leadership program that I think has lent itself to participation, because again, it's about both the personal growth of everyone involved, but also their professional growth. What's interesting is what came out of Conversation Thread is the realization that even though we've built this training program, there's still another step in our own evolution that must take place for us to get to scale, which is as our volunteer base gets more diverse, have we equipped our heads of family and grandparents to facilitate those conversations when it's not just 3 of their peers, but if you have a head of family who's 20 years old, who's majoring in neuroscience at Hopkins, do they know how to coach a volunteer who might be an 80-year-old retiree who just lost their spouse? Do they even understand what that person's going through? And so Conversation Thread both brought our city together, but it turned out to be an incredible moment of learning for our organization about what work we still have to do in building our internal capacity that'll allow us to get to scale.